Hi guys, welcome to the Lab of Legends YouTube channel. My name is Furry, and for those of you who are new to this channel, please ensure that you follow us on Instagram and Spotify to get more content. Today's video is just going to be an introduction of the channel itself, as well as the kind of things we're going to be looking at in future videos. So, to start with, I am a teacher here in regional New South Wales. I teach science primarily, mainly based in chemistry, earth science, and biology. My job is to help you, a possible student, understand how the world around you works and how it can be used to our advantage. So, this is a copy of our New South Wales syllabus from years 7 through to 10. Okay? This area is primarily based around content, stuff you gotta learn, for instance, facts, figures, all that jazz. On this side, we have skills. Things you need to be able to do. For instance, questioning, planning investigations, conducting investigations, processing and analyzing data, problem solving, and communicating. You need to be able to do all 6 of those things in order to say that you are a successful science student. Now, it may seem a little bit intimidating or a little bit confusing, but don't worry, I'm here to help you out. So, let's say that you are going into year 7 for the very first time, and you're a little bit worried that science is going to be a little bit overwhelming, because it can be. You're at a new school, you meet new people, you're trying to catch up with other classes, so naturally, you're going to want to find some sort of guide. Consider this a guide, a breakdown of what you're going to be covering over the next 4 years of your education. After that point, you might want to choose something else, or you might want to go into one of these as a specialty. So, all of the topics that you cover from year 7 through 10 can be broken down into 4 distinct areas. Chemistry, which is study of matter and stuff and how it interacts. Biology, which is the study of living things. Physics, which is the study of how the universe operates. And earth science, which is the study of our planet. All 4 of these are currently electives alongside more meta subjects such as investigating science or general science. Some of these subjects will supplement these 4, but it's these 4 we're typically going to focus on just for today's video. So, just now, ask yourself, are you more of a problem solver, whereas you like to have the information in front of you and come up with an answer? Or are you more of a content learner? You like to learn new facts and understand things in a broader concept. Depending upon your answer to this question, you might lean towards one subject more than another one. This is not to say that it's impossible for anyone to, not do any of these. Technically, anyone can do any of these. But it comes down to your preferences, how you choose to learn, and, maybe more importantly, how you learn to learn. So, let's say you want to look at physics. Physics is much more of a mathematical concept. If you like solving problems rather than learning facts, then physics might be more up your street. It's for people who want to be able to predict what's going to happen. So say, for instance, if someone is building a machine and they want to be able to predict its supposed outcome when it performs a task, a physicist might be involved. If you're looking at being able to create a new generator, a physicist would be there to be able to calculate the amount of energy required to go into the machine and the amount of energy that comes out. Biology, on the other hand, is much more content orientated. It's focused more on learning facts or generalized ideas. So you look at how organisms work together to create an ecosystem. You look at how those organisms as a species can change over time to become new species. You might look at how cells operate and how they work together to create a whole organism. You might look at the health of this organism. And you might look at how we can change the instructions of these organisms to become completely different. For instance, imagine if you had a pet rabbit that could glow in the dark. Imagine if you had a unicorn in your backyard, both of which are technically possible with biotechnology and genetics. Chemistry, compared to the other two, is a mixture. But it's not so much focused on just only maths or only facts, but being able to have one supplement the other. It's very similar to, say, hospitality or food tech. You know that if you perform food tech, you have to be able to use calculations for ingredients to predict how much food you can make. But also, you have to understand how the food works together. For instance, I would not put together pickles and melted chocolate. That would be a terrible idea. So, with chemistry, we want to understand how stuff works and how we can make or break other stuff. For instance, this texture is made of plastic. Plastic is made of several different types of fossil fuels bonded together as a hydrocarbon that's incredibly complex. For this reason, plastic will break if I put too much force on this. Plastic does not shine. Plastic is not conductive of electricity or heat. Instead, it either burns or melts. So with chemistry, we try to understand why that happens. And if we want to make an indestructible pen, this is the subject we would do in it. Now, our last area, Earth science, is focusing more on planet Earth as a whole. It's much more of the balance between all three because it takes aspects from all three and rolls it all together. So, if you decide to look at Earth science, you'd be looking at resources that are found on our planet, such as water, or certain minerals, such as metals or crystals. If you look at plate tectonics and rock types, you might understand how mountains are made and how volcanoes and earthquakes work. You might look at how certain rocks, such as obsidian or basalt or granite, are formed. You might look at how natural disasters happen, such as cyclones or climate change. And eventually, we start to look at how our planet Earth is shaped by other planets and moons and asteroids and stars in the night sky around us, anywhere from inside the solar system to the wider universe as a whole. Now, you're going to cover all four of these each year. Depending on which school you go to, it's going to change. So in one school, you might do it in a certain order. In another school, you do it in a different order. Okay? Doesn't matter. By the end of your schooling career in year 10 for science, you will have completed all of these. For our syllabus, in terms of skills, you might have a topic that is particularly orientated towards performing experiments, whereby you have to perform your own experiment. Now, it may seem a little bit, nerve-wracking at first, but if you watch our further video on how to perform a scientific experiment, it's relatively simple. So, let's say you're watching this video and you're in year 10. You're about to choose your electives and you think, well, I want to do at least one science because I'm interested. First question you ask yourself is, what are you interested in? Are you interested in learning how to make new materials? Are you interested in how living things work? Are you interested in how everything works? Or how are you interested in helping the environment? Each one has a particular draw card that some people are interested in and others aren't. For instance, I might not be that particularly interested in mathematics, or my math skills aren't up to snuff and I need to work on it more. So I might not go towards physics, but I might have enough to say, yeah, I want to do chemistry. For biology, it might be that I don't have enough ability to remember content. I've got a very poor memory for terms or ideas, but I might have a really good head for problem solving, so I choose physics instead. Essentially, there are no wrong choices here. All that you have to remember is that every choice that you have to make it for the right reasons, which is to say you have to be able to justify it. Okay? Just picking one of these as elective because your best friend's picking it says that you don't really have any idea what you're doing. Instead, you're just following someone else. Science is not about following. It is about discovering. And if you choose one of these, then odds are it means that you want to discover something for yourself so that you can use it later on if you decide to go to university. Or if you want to go out and get a trade. Or if you want to go out and get a job. Or you want to continue living as a human being. Because naturally, there are always going to be more questions than answers. And personally, I wouldn't have it any other way. As always, I've been Fari. You guys have been amazing. Welcome to our YouTube channel. I'll see you around.